Hello and welcome to the first episode of Jack Kelly on the Fulham Beat, a brand new Fulham podcast brought to you by West London Sport. My name is Jack Kelly. I'm a freelance journalist covering Fulham FC in the Premier League. And what a great episode we have for you on episode one. In episode one, I speak with Harry Wilson, the left-footed Welsh wizard of Fulham FC. Now, I'm out here in Portugal, in Faro, with, not necessarily with the Fulham team, but covering the Fulham team in pre-season. We've already played 2 games here in Portugal, first of which was a 3-1 win over Nottingham Forest, a game which saw 2 goals from Harry Wilson, who very much is the man of the moment. Beautiful lob to make it 1-0 and a free kick to make it 2-0. And then in the second half, Andreas Pereira with the third goal. Chris Wood got a goal back for Nottingham Forest, but the fellow Premier League side losing to Fulham out here in Portugal. And then just last night, Fulham played Al Ittihad, the Saudi Arabian side, at their campus last night, and Fulham won by 4-2 and were ahead 4-0 at the break, thanks to goals from Harry Wilson again, this time with a beautiful left-footed outside of the foot curling shot into the back of the net. Emil Smith-Rowe scored the second goal with a cross-come shot deflected into the back of the net. Josh King, the new sort of star of Fulham and the Fulham Academy, scoring a beautiful volley to make it 3-0 inside the box. And Jorge Cuenca with a goal right off the training ground. Harry Wilson with the corner, laid it off and sort of peeled away, did Jorge Cuenca, and he found the back of the net. And then Fulham tailed off in the second half. They made 9 changes at half-time, and the energy levels just weren't there. And it was Al Ittihad who scored twice through Karim Benzema, and it was a penalty, which was saved by the only signing that Fulham have made so far this summer in Benjamin Lecomte. Benzema was there on hand to score the rebound, and then they scored a second goal on the counter-attack after Fulham gave the ball away from a corner, and Al Ittihad came forward and scored a second. That was all she wrote. And some interesting quotes from Marco Silva after the game. You know, he was speaking to club media. There was no other sort of journalist present. It was a behind the closed doors game, and Marco just sort of laying out his frustrations at the lack of activity. Fulham have been linked with players like Reece Nelson, Raheem Sterling, Samuel Chukwueze over the last few weeks and days. But Fulham have just brought in 1 player so far this summer, and that is Benjamin Lecomte. And look, without any further ado, let's get into the podcast. Let's get into the chat with Harry Wilson. I sat down with him a couple of days ago and spoke to him about... First of all, how's pre-season been? Have you found it out in Portugal?
Yeah, really good. We had a good week at the training ground before coming, or a bit longer than that, really. And then, yeah, it's nice to get away, a little bit of a change of scenery. See a bit warmer weather, although it was really warm back home before we came. That's good to get away, get our work done, and spend a bit of time together as a team as well.
2 goals against Nottingham Forest, both fantastically taken. So what sort of confidence does that give you going forward?
Yeah, a lot. Like I said, it's always nice to score, even if it's just in pre-season. And like I said, I really enjoyed both goals. Free kicks is something that, something I've not scored for a while, so it was nice to score another one of them. And then the first goal especially was the one I liked, because that connection between not just me and Calvin, but me and the defensive players is something that, we try and work on, because especially if the opposition has that high line, I like to make them runs in behind, and Calvin found me with a great ball, and then for me it was all about just getting it under control, and in that instance lifting it over the keeper, but in other ones it might be maybe taking it round them or slotting it past them. So I really enjoyed that goal.
Just going back to your free kick, that's obviously something that you've got in your locker. We've seen that, when you're at Derby as well. And is that something that you're going to put to the manager going forward to this season, that you could take free kicks?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, in the past, in my previous clubs, and I scored I think a couple for Wales as well, that free kicks is something I pride myself on. But I feel like I've not really had a lot, to be honest, especially since we've been back in the Premier League, and the ones that we have had, maybe we could have done better with. So not just me as a team, and the players that are designated to take them. it's something that we want to improve on, because them dead balls situations can decide games, especially in the tight games.
What's your personal aim for the upcoming season then with Fulham?
I feel like to build on last year. For me personally, last year was it started off a little bit frustrating. So it didn't start as many games as what I wanted to at the start. But once I got in the team, I felt I was in good form, and then especially around Christmas time and in the international games I played for Wales as well, I felt I was playing really, really well. And then I had the injury in January, which was really, really frustrating. But I felt I recovered well for that and finished the season strong. So I'm hoping this year I can take the glimpses of form I showed last year into a full season, stay fit, and be a starter throughout the season and add a lot of goals and assists to the team.
Marcos Silva always speaks so highly of you. You're of course his first signing when he joined the club as well, with Paulo as well. So what's it been like to play under him under these last few seasons?
Yeah, listen, it's been amazing. I knew since that first phone call I had with him, was it 4 years ago now, just over, and it was a really important stage of my career. I'd had a few loans, but I was looking for somewhere that I could call home and really and settle down. And and since speaking with Michael on that phone, I knew Fulham was the place for me, and he told me his aims and ambitions, and that season was to win the Championship and get the club back in the Premier League and establish the club as a Premier League team. We both agreed that Fulham, from the outside before we both came, belonged in the Premier League, and we wanted to get them back there and keep the club there. And I look back now for the last 4 years, and everything we said on that phone call we've achieved. But we're hungry for more, and he's definitely a person that won't let the squad, the staff, or anyone rest on what we've done. He always wants more. He's hungry for more and motivated for more as well.
There's always been a conversation about, you can play centrally. We've seen that many times before. But have you spoke specifically about that with the manager this summer, because of, you can play wide right on the left-hand side sometimes as well, and to play in that central role? And I know you've got competition with Smith Rowe and Pereira, but is that an option for you?
Yeah, like you said, I feel I can do both roles. I think especially for the national team, I play majority of the games more centrally, and I feel that's definitely a position that suits me, and that suits me, and the attributes of my game suit that position. But I think majority of the time for Fulham, I play out wide. But I think the way we play as a team, we always have attacking fullbacks anyway. So even if I do start out wide, it doesn't mean that I have to spend the whole game out there. I think coming inside and allowing the overlap, the fullback, whether it's Timo or Kenny or anybody else that plays there. So I think although I maybe start on the right, I rarely kind of stay out there a bit, because that's just not the profile I've got. And I feel like towards the end of last season we built a little bit more in a back three, and that allowed me to find that pocket of space. I said behind the striker. I think the Bournemouth game at home was a good example of that. I think my goal came from just being in that inside position, and instead of moving across the pitch, I was already in there. So, like I said, we have a lot of players that can play that number 10 or number 8 role. But I think if the manager wants me to, he knows that I can also do that as well.
Absolutely, and the club obviously triggered the 1-year extension at the back end of last season. So, how important was that for you, just to know that you had some sort of stability going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to know as it coming to the end of the season. It still hasn't been announced, but it's an important year for me this year. I didn't want to be going into a World Cup year, which I'm hoping to get to with Wales, not knowing what was kind of coming. So I was glad to get that sorted, so I know that I can get my head down and work, and because I really enjoy it here. So I didn't want my time to come to an end without the contract getting extended.
Of course, the conversation might then lead on to, this time or at the end of this upcoming season, that you'll be, sort of out of contract. But you have spoke previously this summer with Wales, when you were with Wales, about signing a more long-term deal. Is that something in the pipeline? Is there something that you can give an update on?
There's definitely talks about that. Like I said, I love it here. said since I've come here, I felt really at home, and playing in the Premier League or at the highest level is something I wanted to do, and now we're there, and we've kind of established the club there again. It's something I would. There's talks about it happening. We're not close yet, but let's see what happens in the next few months and see if we can get something agreed.
The club have done a fantastic job this summer so far of tying down some young players to new contracts. Luke de Fuggerol's, Josh King, and Seth Ridgen, who's out there with you in Portugal. Seth's obviously a player who's everyone's sort of talking about now. What have you made of him in Portugal and his progress?
Yeah, like I said, I've only seen him for the last few days. I've not seen him play or train before that, if I'm honest. But seeing glimpses of him in the sessions so far this week, he's like I said, massive talent, really tidy on the ball. Plays as if he's a lot older than his age, and his quality from dead balls when we done a little session the other day was fantastic. So I've got no doubt that he's got a massive career ahead of him, and like you said, everybody knows maybe a bit more about Kingy and what he showed last season, and I think what he's going to show a lot more this season. And again with Luke, I think it was a couple of years ago now, he came away to America with us, and I was really impressed with him, his performances, his maturity, the way he played out from the back. He's been a bit unlucky with injuries last season, but I think once he gets a run of games under his belt, I think everybody will see and get reminded of what a massive talent he is.
How encouraging is it for you to have Ryan Sessegnon, who's probably now considered a winger, and Adama Traore both sort of breathing down your neck and sort of going for your position, to have that level of competition? How much is that benefiting your game in terms of your training and your preparation?
Yeah, I think it's always important for competition in the squad, but I also think we're all completely different players. You look at Adama, and it's quite rare in this day and age a winger that plays on this strong side, so a right footer on the right side, but I just think with his power and his pace, that allows him to do that. I think Sess again played a lot of his career as a left back, but showed when he played on the wing last year that he said he's got that knack of popping up in the right place at the right time. And I also think he can play a bit like Adama. He could probably play on the left wing as well, just because of how comfortable he is on that side of the pitch from being at left back, or if we play a back three, he suits that wing back position as well. And then I think with myself, if I start out there, I like to drift in, so I think it gives the gaffer three good options on what kind of player and against what team that he wants to play. What a certain player are out there, so like you said, that's great competition for us, and I think it's like that all over the pitch. We look at our squad, and I think against Forest the other day, when we play kind of a starting 11 in the first half, and then we basically change every player when we're playing what could be another starting 11 in the second half. So I think that shows what a strong position the squad's in, and I said throughout the season we're going to need everybody.
Just a couple more from me. You spoke about popping up in the box in terms of Ryan Sessegnon, but yourself is such a strong trait of yours, which Silva spoke about so often last season. And actually, if you look at all your goals, or most of the goals you scored last season, it was sort of that popping up in the box. Bournemouth, Brentford, all those sort of goals. It's the one against Brentford at the G-Tech that sort of was sort of vintage Harry Wilson, cutting in and shooting. So having that trait to get yourself inside the box, obviously, you're predominantly not a striker, but it's almost as if you can be a striker in that sort of sense, to get in the box and be there for those moments.
Yeah, I don't know what happened last year. I think I scored more headers last season than I had in my whole career combined, and that's including training as well. So every little chance, like you said, in and around the box just seemed to fall to my head. But yeah, it's really important, like I said, when the ball's on the other side of the pitch as the opposite winger. You're not out wide, you're trying to get yourself in between the frames of the goal, because like I said, all them little tap-ins or headers or the cutbacks for you, like you said, they all count and they add to your goals. And everybody knows now, as an attacker, and you're judged on kind of your output, whether that's goals or assists. So it's really important that you try and get yourself in the box there and try and get them little them little goals that might not look as good as the ones where you cut in and score from 20-30 yards, but they all count the same.
Just finally from me, you've had some unbelievable moments in your career, and I think last season's the home game against Brentford, the brace you scored was just absolutely unbelievable for everyone, for the club, for the fans. And where does that rank for you? And how did you feel in that moment? And what sort of reaction have you got since that moment?
Oh yeah, that was right up there in moments in my career. Like you said, I've had some special ones, but yeah, that's right near the top. Just for, like you said, the not the 2 goals, the way we won it so late, in front of the home fans, just seeing the reactions of them, what it meant to them, and us as players as well. Like I said, when you're playing a local rival, it's just that little bit extra on the game, and that was an incredible feeling. And when that second one hit the net and running away to the corner flag, seeing all the scenes behind the goal and on that corner flag when we were all celebrating together, it was an incredible feeling, and one that I'll never forget. Yeah.
Harry, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. So that
Thank
was
you, mate.
Jack Kelly meets Harry Wilson on this first episode of Jack Kelly on the Fulham Beat. And that's it for episode 1. Thank you so much for listening. Before I go, I must plug my other work, which is through Patreon, a subscription service that provides you with more and more Fulham content, and sort of content you don't really see in the usual Fulham space. So we've got press conferences, pre and post match with Marco Silva, match day content, reviews of the game, previews of the game, behind the scenes on match days as well. Things like fan interviews, player interviews, under 21s games. I cover the under 21s as well as the first team. We'll be covering more of the women's this year as well. Looking forward to that. Loads of Fulham content there. And guess how much it costs? £5 a month. Just £5 a month, or $5.50 if you're in America, or €5 if you're in Europe. And what does that get you? A lot of Fulham content. If you go down to your local pub and buy yourself a pint, it's going to probably cost more than what I'm offering for a month's worth of content. And of course, it's not just a one-off payment where you pay sort of a yearly subscription. It is by month. The payment is taken month by month. And it only costs £5. And we've built such an incredible community over there on Patreon. Now, where can you find the links to subscribe? Well, it will be on the West London Sport website, of course. It's also in my Twitter bio at JackkellyFFC, JackellYFFC, my Instagram bio, and my YouTube channel as well, which is Jack Kelly, journalist covering Fulham FC. Thank you so much for listening. Can't wait to be back for the next episode where we have another player interview. Looking forward to it. Take care, guys, and go well.